Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast of your favorite, the best defenseman in all of the NHL. And Erik Karlsson is a legitimate Norris Trophy candidate. So we're going to discuss the Sharks 6-5 shootout loss to the Anaheim Ducks, why Erik Karlsson has just engaged God mode right now, and more on today's episode of Locked On Sharks.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I'm your host, JD Young, contributor at Fear the Fin and San Jose Hockey Now. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. We're free and available wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can subscribe on YouTube as well. I want to apologize if, Locked On, we are your team every day. Sorry, I was not able to get out a Tuesday episode. It was a crazy 36 hours in my house, including a new battery for a car, an ER trip, Halloween. So by the time the plan was to record early, that didn't happen. By the time we finished Halloween, I was done. So I apologize. I wasn't able to get out. I'll try. I think I've got something coming down the pipeline here to hopefully make up for that. So again, I apologize for that. So the Sharks lose 6-5 in a shootout to the Ducks in a game I did not expect to go this way. I thought it was going to be a pretty low scoring, like kind of 2-1-ish type of game, especially with Stolarz and net, who's had some major ownage against the Sharks. But Erik Karlsson decided otherwise. Scoring the first hat trick for a defenseman for the Sharks since 2013. That was when Brent Burns was playing forward. So does that really count? Anyway, Brent Burns did also have another hat trick. I don't know if that was still when he was playing forward. Anyway, Erik Karlsson is just ascended to another level right now. We've talked, in previous podcasts about, is this the best we've seen Erik Karlsson play? Of course, we talked about the magical run in, December to January, that 2018-19 before he blew out his groin. What Erik Karlsson's doing right now is ridiculous. Another 4 points tonight. The Sharks scored 5 goals, and he had 4 points on 5 goals, including 3 goals himself. The way he is putting this team on his back and willing them to be anything but just the worst team in the NHL. I mean, you can make an argument they're the worst team in the NHL right now, but they're at least, like, he is willing this team to be from just poo-poo platter bad. And I know there's no way he can keep this going the way he's going. It's just law of averages, etc. His shooting percentage right now is ridiculous. Like he's shooting over. He's got to be shooting over 25% now after tonight. They haven't updated all the stats yet, but just absolutely ridiculous what he's doing right now. I don't know how to explain it. It's just Erik Karlsson is arguably the best player in the NHL. And I know Connor McDavid leading the NHL in points right now. Erik Karlsson has two less goals than Connor McDavid does. What? That doesn't make sense. Erik Karlsson is like up there with the leaders in points scored, and he's a defenseman. It's absolutely insane what he is doing right now. And I talked about on Monday's show about how much he's contributing. He's over 50% contribution rate on the Sharks' goals right now. It's absolutely bonkers what he's doing in the offensive zone. And the defensive zone, he's trying his best, whatever. You don't pay Erik Karlsson $11.5 million to play lockdown defense. You hope that he plays solid enough defense, which he's doing. If like Evolving Hockey just put out their, like, they just updated their 2023 stats. His defensive numbers are solid. They're not like, again, it's not Vlasic 2014 where he's going to shut you down. But if he can provide adequate defense and he's going bonkers in the offensive zone, this is why you pay Erik Karlsson $11.5 million. And again, it's not sustainable what he's doing, but we have to appreciate what Erik Karlsson's doing right now. His odds on BetOnline moved from 66 to 1 to win the Norris to 16 to 1 today to win the Norris. The man right now is on another level that we have not seen in San Jose in a long, long time. An absolute heater right now. And it is a joy to watch. And if you're an Erik Karlsson hater, I don't know what to say to you, man. Like, he's doing everything that's asked of him. It is, again, absolutely bonkers what this man is doing right now. Again, and I mean, somebody did call a hat trick after seeing him show up. They had the Sharks had the like tweet of him showing up, and he's dressed like the Peaky Blinders. I haven't watched Peaky Blinders, but apparently it's from Peaky Blinders. I said hat trick incoming. Erik Karlsson, listen, Karlsson, you're the man for pulling off the hat trick tonight. Spoiler: Friday, 3 Fridays of the week, Erik Karlsson's gonna be number one. He's just ridiculous right now. So, before we get into the actual game, Timo Meier getting a couple of goals, including the most gifted goal ever, the easiest goal in Timo Meier's career. Let's take a quick break. Talk to you guys about our friends over at SimpliSafe. You guys, you want to protect your house. You need some defense in your house. That's where SimpliSafe has you covered. If you thought about securing your home with home security, but you've been putting it off, you'll want to listen up. Right now, Locked On Sharks listeners can order #1 rated SimpliSafe home security system for 50% off. This is their biggest offer of the year, and you don't want to miss it. They've been named the best home security system of 2022 by U.S. News and World Report. That's the third time in a row they've done that. In emergency, with SimpliSafe 24/7 professional monitoring agents can use Fast Protect technology exclusive from SimpliSafe to capture critical evidence and verify the threat is real. So you get priority police response. They're going to make sure it's like a real thing that's happening, right? It's not like a squirrel running in your backyard and the hazards go off. They have hazard sensors that detect fires, floods, and other threats to your home. And 24/7 professional monitoring service costs less than $1 a day, less than half the price of ADT's traditional professionally installed system. So go check them out. Right now, you get 50% off any new SimpliSafe system at simplisafe.com/lockedonnhl today. This is the biggest discount of the year, so don't wait. That's simplisafe.com/lockedonnhl. There's no safe like SimpliSafe. All right. So the Sharks lose 6-5 in a very odd, entertaining, drunk-ish game where you saw no defense being played. Each team ended up with 44 shots on goal, which is, again, the Sharks are like usually in the mid-20s. So each team had 44 shots on goal in this game. Love it. Absolutely insane. Sharks went 1 for 3 on the power play. The Ducks power play, one of the worst things I have ever watched in my life. Just an absolute. It doesn't make sense too with all the players on their team, like with Zegras and like all these guys on their team. Why their power play is just such a hot mess. Anyway, you had a Stolar's like crab walk thing. a fight, like a hat trick. I don't know what else you wanted in this game. It was absolutely crazy. So, yeah, it's been it was a weird game, but we can try to gather information from this. So, Timo Meier starting to come. So that's kind of my other big takeaway, other than Erik Karlsson. 2 goals tonight. One on the power play, where just an absolutely gorgeous. You have Karlsson breaking out, passes it to Barabanov. Barabanov hits Timo Meier. Timo Meier gets tripped, is able to get up and still get a shot off, and it scores. That's the okay, things are starting to break your way. Then Timo Meier coming down the wing tries to put a little move on Silfverberg. Silfverberg gifts him the easiest goal he's ever going to score because he didn't actually have to shoot. He just was the last guy to touch it. Silfverberg shoots it into the net for Timo Meier there, helping out his old pal there. And yeah, so 2 goals for Timo Meier. So we're starting to see Timo Meier, things starting to click for him. And then even the same thing when it comes to Tomas Hertl. Did have a rough, or big hit into the board where he broke on a breakaway and then kind of went sliding into the boards and a little shaken up afterwards. But Hertl now, though, 2 assists tonight. He's got assists in 4 of his last 5 games, so 6 points in his last 5 games. So he's not scoring goals, but again, starting to kind of stack some of these points up. So the same thing's gonna be coming for Hertl, where he's going to be starting to score here soon. So love to see Hertl, Timo starting to get things together here. And then I mean those were your goal scores. It was Timo and Karlsson. Between the two of them, they had 5 goals. And then defensively for the Sharks, it was not their prettiest game, and I'm sure David Quinn is not going to be happy with a lot of the defensive breakdowns. Matt Benning did not have himself a good night tonight. Turned into a pylon several times where trying to make a play and just is not able to, especially the first Henry goal, where he just takes his soul. He just outmaneuvers him, and he just scores. It's the Matt Benning experience. So where it's tough because you see him make some really good defensive plays, okay, and then stuff like that, and it's almost like Karlsson, except for he's not going to get the same hate that Karlsson does, but just a tough night for Matt Benning. So let's dig into the Sharks forward lines and see how they were utilized. So again, it was kind of a weird. Ducks did have 4 power plays, and we did see this game the breaking up of the top line a little bit. So going into the game, it was the Svechnikov, Hertl, Meier on the top line, Nieto, Couture, Barabanov on your second, Bonino, Sturm, Cunnin, and then you had Lindblom, Lawrence LeBanc. So 5-on-5. So the line with the most amount of ice time was actually the Nieto, Couture, Barabanov, because Lindblom did go up and play with Hertl and Meier for a couple shifts. So I think Svechnikov looks like he lost his spot on the top line. The Couture line, so nobody got a lot of offensive zone starts. The Sharks just didn't have a lot of offensive zone starts in this game. So the Couture line had 9. The Couture had 9 neutral zone starts, 2 offensive zone and 2 defensive zone. The Bonino line, or the Bonino Sturm kind of line, they had. Oh, sorry. Let's go back to the Couture line. So yeah, mostly neutral zone starts for them. 10 shots for, 10 shots allowed, or shot attempts. Actual shots on goal was 7 to 8. They did give up a goal at 5-on-5. Expected goals for them, a little bit rough, at least at 5-on-5 at 0.38, while they gave up 0.76. So they were mainly used as a shutdown line and did an okay job at it. So giving up the 1 goal is kind of what killed them. Cunnin, Bonino, Sturm line. 6 shot attempts for 11 allowed. So it's kind of the first time we've seen them really, that line kind of get worked that much. Actual shots on was 3 to 5. And then they had a goal, gave up a goal. Erik Karlsson, thank you very much. 2 offensive zone, 8 neutral zone, 6 defensive zone. So interesting there. Svechnikov, Hurdle, Meier played 642, had 7 shot attempts for, 5 shot attempts allowed. Actual shots and goals 5 to 3. Did have 2 goals for. Love to see it. Got a little lucky because their expected goals for was actually only 0.11. And 1, 2, and 4 for the zone starts. And then the Lindblom, Hurdle, Meier, 5 shot attempts, 4, 3 allowed. That's only in 3 minutes. So good for them there. So, and then 0.22 expected goals. So a little bit more juice on that line. 2 offensive zone starts for them. Lindblom, Lawrence LeBanc, 4 to 5 shots allowed. 3 to 5 actual shots allowed. It did give up a goal. Did have expected goals for 0.45. So they high quality chances compared to 4 scoring chances for them. So, but Timo Meier tonight, though, just being an absolute monster again. I think he had 9 shots on goal. He was 9 shots on goal for Timo Meier. Logan Couture 8 shots. So love to see that from Couture, trying to, I assume the Nieto Couture line is going to kind of stay together right now, and Barabanov line is going to stay together. So if Couture is going to keep shooting like that, love to see it. And then wow, Mario Ferraro had more ice time than Erik Karlsson, which is fine. I'm fine with keeping Karlsson in the under 25 minutes. You don't want him to wear down. So using him, Ferraro plays 6 minutes of shorthanded. That'll do it. So, for the Sharks, interesting usage there. I think we've seen the end of the Svechnikov's experiment on the top line, and I guess now it's going to be Lindblom's term up there. I know a lot of people are kind of a little frustrated with Lindblom because he hasn't really gotten done too much yet, but we shall see. They're still trying to figure who to play with the Hurdle Meier line. So before we do finish up, want to let you guys know, of course, about the Locked On Game to Game. Thank you guys for making Locked On Sharks your first listen today. Now make your second listen the Game to Game NHL. Every moment, every top performance, every result, Locked On Game to Game covers every game from across the NHL with local analysis only Locked On can deliver. So you want a nice little recap of what happened the night before, Locked On Game to Game NHL has you covered. We all kind of give our spiel, our big takeaways from the game. So go follow Game to Game on Locked On NHL, available on the Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever you get podcasts. All right, so let's finish this up with Kaapo Kähkönen. And I know he gave up 5 goals tonight, but this was just one of those weird games, right? Where you're kind of just in this type of game. And none of the goals I felt were egregious, right? I mean, yes, you would like to have a save at some of those spots, but how many of them were Matt Benning getting turnstiled, and you're just, yes, you'd like to make a save there, but Kaapo Kähkönen not put in the greatest spot there. So 31 shots against 27 saves at 5-1. Actually, let me pull up the all situations here for our good friend Big Kähkönen. So 44 shots, 39 saves. Expected goals against was 285. Save percentage 886, and goal. Faced 10 high danger shots with 8 high danger saves. So 800 high danger save percentage. So not too bad there. But the mid is kind of where he got killed tonight. So he had 11 mid-danger saves on 14 mid-danger shots. He gave up 3 mid-dangers for 786 mid-danger. And it was perfect from low danger at 18 for 18. And I know they're like, there's a little bit of like, well, James Reimer is the best goalie. Yeah, James Reimer has been the best goalie so far this season, but you didn't trade for Capo Kakinen for him to just kind of be a backup goalie, right? So he did get some run support tonight, got 5 goals from the Sharks, and you would like a save, but I think this was mostly a defensive breakdown on a lot of the stuff from the Sharks. And I'm not, yes, again, you do want Capo Kakinen to make some saves here and there. That's what he is paid to do, is to make saves. But again, none of the goals really came to mind as like, oh yeah, Capo Kakinen. He probably wish he had that one. It was a lot of, that's a really nice play on the offensive, by the Ducks, or that's a really terrible play on the defense by the Sharks. And Matt Benning definitely had himself a rough night tonight. I that and Mario Ferraro too at the same, I have made my we Kyle and I have talked several times about Mario Ferraro maybe not being the guy that a lot of people thinks he is. And he might not be that guy. And we were hoping Mario Ferraro, especially now there's really kind of nobody behind Karlsson who's providing offense. And you really would hope that Mario Ferraro would kind of take that next step, be it a little bit more offensively zoned, kind of more offensive zone, and just be competent there. And it's not happening. And defensively, he's okay, but I don't think he's not as good as people think he is. And if you look at his underlying stats, look at his metrics, he just doesn't provide like the shutdown kind of defense that you think he does. And I'm wondering or pondering out loud if that contract in a couple of years might not be super swell. It's not the worst contract, but it's you just, again, I'm hoping maybe he starts to kind of find his groove here. But the Ferraro contract, the 4 years at $3.25 million for the next, again, he's only 24 and stuff, but I mean, I'll be more than happy to pull up his kind of, especially his number for this season. So give me a second as I'm talking to you as I'm pulling this up. But the Mario Ferraro 2022-2023 season is not really off to a massive success here. So I'm going to pull this up here if you're watching on YouTube. I apologize for taking, I should have had this. So his his goals for is under 1 for his the standard deviation. Expected goals for is like -1.5. Corsi 4 is like minus point like 4 or 5 or whatever. Expected goals allowed and Corsi allowed, they're kind of basically 0-ish. So and then he's a negative on the power play as well. So Mario Ferraro, unfortunately, just seems kind of like a guy right now. I never actually showed it. My bad. Mario Ferraro just kind of seems like a guy right now, unfortunately. And, it's tough because you're paying him to be more than this guy, especially as a kind of a cap strap team that the Sharks currently are. You need all those dollars to be maximized. And if you're paying him $3.25 million, you kind of need him to do a little bit more than what you're seeing on the screen here right now. Because what you're seeing on the screen here right now, you can just find that type of thing. So, on the season, Mario Ferraro has 3 assists. Again, I know you're not paying Mario Ferraro to be an offensive juggernaut, but you gotta do a little bit better than this here. And I know he's getting like the third pairing minutes with Šimik. Like, for example, Radim Šimik, or I'm sure Radim Šimik's numbers aren't that great either, but and they are worse than Ferraro. So good, yes. So he's doing a little bit better than Šimik, but like it's tough. This is, if you want to point to why the Sharks have been really, really bad, other than these scoring goals, is the defense. The defense has been a hot mess. Karlsson's been decent. Karlsson's been out of this world, but Vlasic's been decent. You will take this. Vlasic hit, so he's goals for per 60 is under 1 for the standard deviation. Everything else is like okay-ish here, with kind of middle of the pack, kind of bluish, right? If you're looking at the chart here, like you'll take that for Mark-Edward Vlasic, especially after what you've seen the last couple of years. But the rest of the guys are, Jacob Magna, you're paying literally the least amount of money you can pay. So whatever you got out of Jacob Magna is a plus. But the rest of the team right now, the defense is what's killing this team. And they added some guys, but some of these guys just aren't really doing enough for this team right now defensively. And that's what puts your goaltenders in bad situations. James Reimer's been able to cover for a lot of this, but the rest of the defense definitely has not. So Erik Karlsson, that's a lot of pretty blue. So, all right, that's going to do it for me today. We'll be back tomorrow previewing the Sharks-Panthers game. I'm trying to get a nice crossover with with the Panthers. So we'll talk about that. Panthers have been a little sluggish to start this year, so it'll be interesting to learn more about the Panthers. And then, get you guys cover the Panthers game. Hopefully have something special I'm working on for you guys this week as well, to make up for missing on Tuesday. So make sure, of course, you guys are following along Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram over at Locked On Sharks. You can listen wherever you get podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Odyssey, all those places. When you're done, also go check out the Locked On Sports Today podcast. They've got you covered with the biggest stories of the day, plus instant reactions, big game recaps, and the take of the day. The take of today is Erik Karlsson's the best defenseman in the NHL. And I will not hear any other, because he's the best defenseman in the NHL. So they're available in the Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever you get podcasts. Follow me on Twitter at myfryhole. Be back tomorrow. Until then, bye, friends.